Hey everyone, it's Garrett from Ultramunch. Today I'm going to show you how I made this Japanese room diorama that's perfect for anime figure photography, and I did it for only $10. So the materials I used for this project were some foam core board, some balsa wood, and some different assorted craft paper. Now all of these were $1 each, with the exception of some of the craft paper, but I was able to get them all for even less because craft stores always tend to have coupons, so make sure to keep your eyes out for that. First thing I did was that I started cutting the foam core board to make the walls, the ceiling, the floor. I wasn't using a specific template, so I was just kind of making the measurements up on my own. It turned out pretty decent, honestly. So the coolest piece of craft paper that I found was this kind of like fabric textile that's glued onto paper. This I used on the floor to make it look like kind of a tatami floor pattern. I thought it was just kind of the perfect texture and it just kind of gave it an added level of realism. So I cut it all out, and by the time that I was finished, I was really satisfied with the result. That seam where I joined the two pieces of paper together, I knew I was going to cover that later with paper panels, so I wasn't too worried about it at the time. So one mistake that you should probably learn from that I made, when I was applying the construction paper to the foam core board for the walls, I added a lot of tacky glue and it actually kind of warped the construction paper a little bit, so make sure not to be as ridiculous with your glue as I was. My next step was to take some brown construction paper that I actually already had, and then I cut it up into tiny little strips to use as the panels. Here you can see I'm using a paper cutter, but you could honestly do the same thing with a ruler and some scissors. I just used a paper cutter because it was easier and it saved me some time. I made a whole lot of these brown paper strips. Next, I carefully placed the paper panels down on the floor to make it into something that resembled loosely a tatami floor pattern. I definitely didn't model it after an actual tatami floor pattern, so if you look too closely at it, you'll kind of see that. But given that this is for figure photography and not a wall display, I could kind of get away with it. So that's the end result. And then I kind of did the same thing for a ceiling pattern as well. You really can't see the ceiling from most of the pictures that I take, but I just wanted to know it was there. Then for the back wall, I started making kind of a paper door design. To give it a little more realism, I took even smaller strips of paper and made those as the panels. It was pretty tedious, I'm not gonna lie, but I think the end result turned out okay. When doing a part of a project that's pretty repetitive, I'll usually have a podcast or a TV show in the background just to fill the void and make sure that I'm not losing my mind from boredom. And that's what I ended up with. So my next step was to attach all the pieces together. I decided on hot glue just because it was easiest and fastest for me, but you could really use any kind of glue. After that, my project was pretty much finished, but I wanted to do at least one prop that I could stick into it to make it feel a little more like it lived in space. So for my prop, I decided on a kotatsu. The first thing I did was take the bottom of an old jug and cut it so that it was kind of in a roughly square shape. Then I took an old shirt that was full of holes and I really wasn't using anymore, and I cut that to use as some fabric to make it look like a blanket. Then I used hot glue to attach it, and I cut out a piece of balsa wood. I just scored it in 3x3 and then I popped it out, and that was perfect for the table. And once I added that, bam! My diorama was finally ready for a photo shoot. Hey everybody, thanks for watching this video, I really appreciate it. If you enjoyed seeing me make this, or have any suggestions for what I should make in the future, let me know in the comments. Oh, and be sure to subscribe to Ultra Munch for more. Thanks everybody, see you soon.